Hey everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In this video, I'm going to show you how I changed this microfiber chair into this leather looking chair. Now be sure to stay tuned to the end because I'm going to talk about all of the pros and cons that I found and also the easiest, most stress-free method for the best results. So before I get started, I watched a ton of videos on painting fabric. The oldest one I think was posted like 6 years ago. With all the different techniques out there, finding the best methods can be super confusing. Some mixed fabric softener, paint, and water. Some mixed paint and fabric softener, no water. Some mixed paint and water, no fabric softener. Latex paint, chalk paint, acrylic paint, wax, no wax. All of those options can make this process super daunting. So I do this type of stuff as a stress reliever, so a little research can go a long way. I wanted to make sure the process was as stress-free as possible. I've had these bar stools for several years. Our family and especially the kids got a lot of wear on them, so I was considering either dumping or donating them. Then I started seeing all this talk about painting fabric. I was intrigued, so I decided to give it a go. As you can see, this material is a microfiber suede-like material. I went ahead and taped the wood for protection and then gathered my material. I started with a half fabric softener, half water solution to saturate the fabric. Here I have 2 sample containers of Valspar latex paint, and I gathered some other materials that I would be needing. I began by using half latex paint with half fabric softener as suggested by one of the videos. I mixed this thoroughly for about 2 to 3 minutes. I was looking for the paint to thicken up a little bit. None of the instructions I saw actually said how long this should take. Instead of it thickening up with a smooth texture, it was more of a very grainy texture, so I wasn't sure about how the application would be. I saturated my chair with the fabric softener and water solution. I began applying the paint mixture. Almost immediately, I suspected that something was wrong. It wasn't going on as smoothly as I anticipated, and there were actually lots of lumps in the paint. I decided to continue anyway. Ew! As you can see, the graininess and the lumpiness continued. This is not stress-free, and I'm not feeling this at all. I decided to scrape off the excess paint and try again. This time with only a small amount of fabric softener in a cup of paint. This is so much better. It's spreading nice and evenly and very smooth. I can feel my muscles relaxing and the stress leaving my body. We're back on track. I continued to use the fabric softener and water solution to saturate the rest of the chair and continued painting with the paint with just a small amount of fabric softener. So this is how it looks with the first coat. I'm going to put it to the side and get started on another chair. For the second chair, I decided to use 25% fabric softener with 75% water for the spray solution. I'm fully saturating the chair, and the great thing about this material is that as you spray water on it, it darkens, so you know that it's wet. For this chair, I decided to skip the fabric softener altogether and use chalk paint and water. I was really surprised at how smoothly it went on and how easy it was to spread. There were no lumps and bumps. I just dipped my paintbrush in water and dipped it in the paint and continued to paint. So here it is after the first coat of paint. Not bad. So in the time it took me to paint the second chair, the first chair is already dried. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a second coat of paint. You can still kind of see the original color coming through. For this second coat, I'm sticking with the chalk paint and water. After leaving it for a few hours in the sun to dry, it's ready for its third coat. The third coat provided complete coverage. I could have stopped there, but I decided I wanted my chairs a shade darker, so I decided to go back to the latex paint for a fourth coat. So here I am applying my fourth and final coat of paint using the darker latex paint. I also decided to just continue with the paint and water only. Just for comparison, the darker shade is the latex paint and the chalk paint is to the left. Once again, while the first chair is out soaking up some sun, I'm applying the fourth and final latex coat to my second chair. Twins! After the paint dried, I did a scratch test. Looks good. This is one of the chairs we've been using for the last 2 weeks. Despite the many seats and feet that's been on this chair, it's holding up really well. I also conducted a wipe with a damp cloth test. No surprise there, it looks and feels the way it does when I wipe my walls with a damp cloth. The good news is it dried really quickly and it didn't compromise the color. Well, there you go. My favorite technique was simply paint and water. I simply dipped the brush in water and then dipped it in the paint and went to painting. I found that this method, the paint was smooth, the application was easy. Because the layers were really thin, it dried really quickly, so that was definitely a pro. Some of the cons were that because the layers were really thin, it took several coats to completely cover the chair, and also it can put a lot of stress on your wrist and hands as you're applying so many different coats and trying to get a smooth coverage. The thing that I loved about using the fabric softener was if you use a fabric softener with fragrance, the scent kind of masks the scent of the paint. It did seem though like using the fabric softener in the paint, the overall product was slightly more, had a little bit more luster than using just the paint and water. But with the chalk paint, after I finished painting, I did do one final coat, as you saw, of latex paint, and that kind of gave it a little bit of luster as well. Overall, I really enjoyed doing this project. It took a while because I wasn't going to stress over it, so it took several days. I started out with 2 chairs, and after our family utilized those 2 chairs for 2 weeks and it was able to hold up with no issues, I went ahead and did the final 2 chairs. So we have 4 bar stools painted with chalk paint and latex paint. For those of you out there who are crafting and painting and doing all kinds of upcycling, that repetitive motion can take a toll on your fingers and your wrist. So I'm going to put a video on here coming soon of how to strengthen your wrist, how to help certain exercises that will help you get out of pain, and just to preserve our body as we're doing all of these repetitive things. All right, I hope you enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you're notified the next time a video comes out. All right. I said all right already? Okay, till next time. God bless.